guys, welcome back to Golden Blue Dude. Yep, another car video. But you know what? This is still home of at least one college football video every single day. So make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Don't forget about my live show tonight. I have a special guest, Eugene Napoleon. He was the running back for the 1988 undefeated West Virginia football team. He has many accolades. He's a well-accomplished author and a well-spoken individual. So don't miss my live show tonight starting at 7 p.m. Sometimes you have an idea and you just gotta get it in front of a camera. I just happened to be in a car whenever this idea hit me in the face. There's some people that are totally against Cincinnati making the playoffs. They're a group of 5 team. They don't deserve to get into the playoffs even if they go undefeated. They haven't proven anything. Well, Cincinnati would get blown out if they make the playoffs. Well, that's still hearsay unless you prove it. So you actually have to let Cincinnati in the playoffs to actually prove your theory. And the funny thing is, a lot of this anti-Cincinnati talk is coming from Georgia fans. I wonder why. The last time y'all played Cincinnati, they scared you. I wouldn't want Cincinnati in the playoffs either if I was a Georgia fan. They know how good Cincinnati is. Or maybe it's simply people don't want to crown Cincinnati as national champions. That's not a good look for college football. Because yeah, I do think Cincinnati has a decent shot to beat Georgia. So maybe that's it. Crowning Cincinnati the national champions of college football doesn't sit right with some people. You might have to get over it. What's the point of having the playoffs? Getting the 4 best teams to play each other to determine who the national champion is going to be. So who should we put in there? Well, we all know Georgia is head and shoulders the #1 team in the nation. Unless something epic happens, like an epic collapse, Georgia's making the playoffs and they're probably going to win the national championship. But who do you put in there with them? Who can challenge Georgia? That's the question. Is it Iowa? I don't think so. They just got hammered by Purdue. What about Ohio State? Well, they're looking better, but they got beat by Oregon and they haven't been tested since they got beat by Oregon. Yes, they've improved massively since that loss, but until they play somebody really good like Michigan, Michigan State, or Penn State, we still don't know how good Ohio State is. What about Penn State? Well, they lost to Iowa, who just lost to Purdue. But I do think Penn State would have beaten Iowa with Sean Clifford. What about Alabama? Well, they got beat by an average Texas A&M team. Alabama is not looking like a playoff team. I'm just going to be honest with you. I mean, maybe they can get better throughout the year and look like it at the end of the season. But right now, they don't look like it. Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma has a case. Ever since they switched from Spencer Rattler to Caleb Williams, that offense has come alive. So yes, I think I would put Oklahoma in the playoffs right now. Michigan, Michigan State. They're both undefeated, but they haven't played anybody great. So would they deserve to get into the playoffs right now? Yeah, they would. They're undefeated. But are they going to deserve to be there at the end of the season? Can they challenge Georgia? Then there's Ole Miss and Auburn. Well, Ole Miss got beat by Alabama. They're looking pretty good, but their defense is not all that great. Auburn has 2 losses already, but they could still win the SEC West, so they could still get in. And if anybody says Notre Dame, then you have to put Cincinnati in there because Cincinnati beat Notre Dame. I don't think anybody in the ACC could beat Georgia. Not even close. Not even get closer than 4 touchdowns. Are you kidding me? And there's the Pac-12. The only contender out of the Pac-12 is Oregon, and I definitely don't trust Oregon. I mean, they got beat by freaking Stanford. Give me a break. So that brings me back to Cincinnati. They passed their 2 tough road tests this year at Indiana, at Notre Dame. And yes, that road trip to Indiana was a tough test. Look at the Michigan State game. The Spartans, who are also undefeated, almost lost to Indiana. Then that road trip to Notre Dame. They were clearly the better team there. Then there's last year, the Peach Bowl, when Cincinnati actually played Georgia. And think about it, that Peach Bowl was in Georgia's backyard. Cincinnati almost beat Georgia in their own backyard. If Cincinnati goes undefeated, runs the table, the Bearcats deserve to be in the playoffs. Right now, the 4 most deserving teams to make the playoffs: Georgia, Cincinnati, Oklahoma, and surprise, surprise, Oklahoma State. No, I haven't mentioned them yet. They're still undefeated. They came back against Texas. Texas gave Oklahoma fits, but they beat a really good Baylor. So yeah, right now, I would say the Cowboys deserve to be in the playoffs as well. Out of those 3 teams that I've put in the playoffs with Georgia as of right now, I would think that Cincinnati has the best chance of beating Georgia. That's the #1 reason why you put Cincinnati in the playoffs. They do have to go undefeated, and if they do, they're the team that has the best chance of beating Georgia. Oklahoma's right up there with them, but I think Cincinnati has a better chance, better matchups, more experience, more depth, and they've actually played Georgia. So for all you Cincinnati doubters out there, just remember, last time any team had a decent game against Georgia, it was Cincinnati. Case closed. That's all I got for you for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.